Hello there, welcome to the Perfume Experience. Welcome back to another house series, and I have another Indian house today to feature in this particular episode, where in this particular series we feature houses that make fragrances in India and probably are a little unheard of, or you probably need an introduction to them. So that's the whole idea behind the house series, and today we are going to review a fragrance house called as Aroma Artisans. Now this is how this particular brand looks like. This is Aroma Artisans. This is a house from Bangalore, and it is managed by a fellow fragger called as Kapil Vyas and his mother. They are the founders of this particular brand called as Aroma Artisans. This is a house that basically makes a lot of fragrances. In fact, I would say this is a perfumery house, and he is a perfumer basically. Is not, he really practices making fragrances and perfumery, right? So in the sense to say that they make, of course, they do make inspired versions. They also have indie fragrances. Then they also have isolates, which are basically, one-note fragrances, and of course they have artisanal fragrances as well. You can check out the website of Aroma Artisans for you to get an idea of what is the range of fragrances that they have. But the primary element why I kind of reviewed this house is basically, though being in Bangalore and is being in part of the same club that we are part of, the fragrance club in Bangalore, I did not actually get to experience his fragrances beforehand. So one of the fellow members from Facebook, and he actually reached out to me saying that you should try out their fragrances. They do have very good line of fragrances, especially inspired versions and all of that. So that's when I kind of got a few fragrances from them, and one of the fragrances I did feature in the top 10 more fragrances, Indian fragrances, summer fragrances list as well. So I did feature one of them there. Then I thought, let's review this particular house and tell you how good their fragrances actually are, right? Now this is how their presentation comes in. This is the 50 ml box that you kind of look at. They have their motif here, which is black and gold accent done pretty well, and inside you would basically kind of see the fragrance sitting like this. This is a 50 ml version, and they do have a sample sitting there as well, right? Now the bottle is actually pretty nice, so let me just keep this here. Okay, so the bottles are actually designed pretty nicely. They are elegant and simple, and yet look very, very nice. Now this is a fragrance called as Orange Brandy, and it's a very interesting fragrance. Let's talk about that for a minute. Okay, so let's do a couple of sprays to give you an idea. This is a fragrance that opens with a lot of nice boozy vibe. Okay, a beautiful boozy element is something that you kind of get on this particular fragrance. It's got a good amount of orange. It's got some amount of vanilla that comes into this particular fragrance, making it really nice. Now, Orange Brandy is basically a fragrance that's got orange, it's got brandy, it's got a bit of lavender, but then it's also got a lot of vanilla. So you kind of get a very nice sweet, vanilla, that kind of a fragrance, and it's excellent for evenings. It's excellent for dating. All of that is the time and place where you kind of enjoy this fragrance. Now this is an alternate of Sunshine Man from Amouage, and it's a very nice option that you can consider. You can check out their website, and I think the 50 ml is about 14.99 rupees, and they do have the 8 ml option as well. Now this was one of them, and the other fragrance that I actually featured, the one that I featured in the summer fragrances list, is basically Dive Nui. Now this is an alternate of the Acqua di Gio Perfumo. Now Acqua di Gio Perfumo, is a very beautiful fragrance. It's got a lot of citrus element, it's got a lot of marine element. It's beautiful for summers, it's good for office wear and all of that. Now what they've done with Dive Nui is basically to give it a twist, and the twist comes in the form of a fresh mint note. Now the mint note doesn't really come up right at the opening, so the fragrance opens up pretty well. It projects really, really good. Whereas this, for me, Orange Brandy does about, I would say, roughly about 2.5 feet of projection, and lasts for about 6-7 hours on skin and apparel, whereas this does more than 3 feet plus, which is Dive Nui does more than 3 feet plus, and this one projects for a long time too. But the best part is the mint note that I was talking to you about comes in about after an hour's time, and the fragrance becomes really wonderfully nice, fresh, minty in that way, with a good refreshing vibe, and that continues for about 4 to 5 hours definitely, and you get a good performance about 6 hours plus easy on apparel. Projects really well as well. So if you're looking for a very nice alternate to the Acqua di Gio Perfumo line and you want to twist in that, you can definitely consider getting their Dive Nui. Okay. Now, aside to this, I did try a few other fragrances as well, and some of them are really nice. Like for example, Sugar Daddy. Okay. Now, Sugar Daddy is an alternate of the Roja Danger fragrance, and it's basically got Coca-Cola, ginger, some cognac, all of that. It's a very boozy, sweet kind of a fragrance. Very nice. You can definitely try this if you like a nice alternative of Roja's fragrances. It's very nice. It's got a very green, fresh kind of opening because there is a note of that Coca-Cola, and that makes it very different, very beautiful. But then I also tried another fragrance, and this is probably one of my favorites. This is called Kipling Park. Now, this is basically an alternate of the popular Frederic Malle's Synthetic Jungle. Now, this is a fragrance that's got a lot going on, and it's very different, very mature kind of a fragrance because it's got a good amount of spicy elements to it. Okay, it's got some citrusy, spicy opening, which is really fantastic. And if you've been looking for something which is very unique, very matured scent, something that stands apart from the other fragrances, you can definitely try this. This I would advise you to go ahead and get a small sampler, try it, and then go for a full 50 ml. But if you're looking for a very good alternate of Frederic Malle's Synthetic Jungle, then Kipling Park is something that you should definitely try. Okay. Now, aside to that, there was also one other fragrance that I wanted to talk to you about, which is Celestial Seduction. Now, this is a very nice fragrance. This is basically got, or this is an alternate of Memories in Paris by Van Cleef. So this is a very nice, sweet kind of a fragrance. It's got a very good amount of citrusy, beautiful vibe to it. It's got almond, amber, tonka beans. So it's a very, it's kind of, leans a little towards gourmand, but then it actually has a very nice signature profile to itself. It's a very nice scent to try. But of the samples that I have, in fact, I have quite a few other samples as well. But of the ones that I tried, for me, Kipling Park was something exceptionally good because it's very mature, it's very unique in a very nice way. Now, these are alternates that they do. Aside to that, they do also indie fragrances. Now, for example, Javra. Okay, now this one, for example, is a fragrance that's inspired from Indian houses where you can't access them online. So they're basically, trying to recreate the same fragrance, and you can try this. This is a fragrance that's got, rose, oud, that kind of oud-rose combo kind of a thing. It's very nice, but you've got to be careful not to apply it on light apparel because it's going to leave a stain. Now, that is the indie fragrance, and I also told you that they do have isolates. Now, isolates are basically like this, like 001 and, for example, 01X. Now, these are basically ISO E Super. Okay. Now, ISO E Super, now these are actually offered in two different variants. For example, the 001 has got a gamma rating of about, I think, or a volume of about 15% or 13%. So, if you want to try ISO E Super with a 13 to 15% ratio, you can try this. Then if you want the same thing with a much higher ratio of 25%, then you can go for 01X. Now, the idea behind these are single note fragrances, and mostly what happens is you go nose blind with them, so you don't actually kind of smell them as such, but people around you will be able to smell them a lot. Now, you can use them for layering purposes. So they do have this, and they also have Javanol, okay, and they have 004, which is basically Ambroxan. Okay, so they have all of these, and you can use them to layer with your existing fragrances so that you can get a little more projection and a little more throw in your fragrances, and they're really nice that way. I kind of dropped that one. It's all right, so it's right here, it's safe. Okay. So yes, so aside to the isolates and that they do, and the other element that they also have is artisanal fragrances. Now, artisanal fragrances are basically something that you can use for your car, for your home, for your bathrooms, for your bedrooms. You can definitely check out that from their website. Now, one of the reasons why I decided to review this particular house was basically because of the quality of fragrances that they offer. Now, why specifically quality is because Kapil Vyas goes to a huge extent to get the best raw materials from across the world, and then for that reason, if he has to wait for 6 months, 7 months to get one particular fragrance done, he would do so. So one of the things that you get from this particular house is they have limited number of units of all of the fragrances that they offer, and if they kind of run out of that, the chances of you getting that same fragrance is going to take about 6 to 8 months time, because they really wait for the longest possible time or to get the best possible quality raw materials, and for that, if they have to wait for the longest time, they kind of do. So they have very limited offerings in terms of their fragrances. They have a wide range of fragrances, but the quality is really nice. Apparently the Blue Day Chanel is really good. He had the last bit of about 2-3 ml that he shared with me, and it's really nice. But I would say that their quality of fragrance is very high, and it's in the same ballpark line of Afia, Centrix, Almaham, Centodelic, at that same phase, because the quality of fragrances is really up there, and the price point is also kind of similar because their 50 mls are about 1400 rupees. Okay, now I do have a coupon code that I would like to offer you. It's called TPE, which is the Perfume Experience, TPE10, and you will get a 10% off on their website for the next few days to come, right? So you can definitely try it to get a good amount of discount on the product line that they have, right? So if you kind of like the type of house series that I bring, where I am introducing you to newer houses, do let me know what other houses you would want me to try. We can definitely try Follow Me Perfumes. I've been getting a lot of requests for that. But if there are other houses that you have tried and you would want me to explore them, review them, and come back and tell you my views, you can definitely do that, right? So yes, definitely try out the website of Aroma Artisans and try out their different fragrances. Use the coupon code TPE10 to get a 10% off. If you like the video, hit the like button, subscribe and share. And if you like the setup, give me a comment saying, yes, this looks nice. All right, thank you so much. Take care. See you on another one. Bye now.